Amazing. Do all this thing. Sticks and stones may break my bones, yeah. But easy now, I'm bulletproof, so words can never hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, yeah. But easy now, I'm bulletproof, your words can never hurt me.
Yo, we up! Yo, this episode 16.
Sweet 16, baby.
Ooh, I like that.
Sweet
16.
Oh, Jesus. Baby.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm good today.
Sorry. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good too.
Scale of
-5 to 5. Hans?
2.75.
2.7. Ooh, improvement.
Wow, an increase. A slight increase.
2.85.
Oh, this nigga's petty.
Yeah.
Price is right.
Yeah, I'm 2.85 now.
It's already being competitive. It's ridiculous.
I had a good weekend. I think about it too. Good weekend.
That was a good.
There was a photo shoot that I postponed because I wasn't mentally in it, and I was able to get through it this weekend, and it went well. So,
So it wasn't a time-sensitive photo shoot.
It was something for me. So I would have preferred to have done it the original date, but I was able to conquer that bad boy this weekend. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Feeling like,
What was the photo shoot about?
I was trying to go for a denim vibe, like a denim biker gang kind of vibe. So it's just like when I have something up here, I gotta make it come to reality. So that's why I kind of like pressured myself and made myself anxious because I always wanted it to go so well. And the moment anything negative happened, I like panicked out and decided, all right, cool, postpone. But could have went for the original date, but I'm happy with how everything played out. Having the date.
But maybe if you had one for the original date, with that current mindset you had, you wouldn't have been able to capture the moments or capture things the way you want to capture them.
Exactly.
So sometimes, we gotta listen to our body or our brain. Like, you know what? It's a stay in bed day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not wrong with
Like, I'm not on my A game, and this weekend I was a whole lot better. So for me, that's a victory, like completely. So not two of the things. Deuce.
And the photo shoot itself, was it to promote something or just for shits and giggles?
That was for just using imagery to relay a message I wanted to relay with my blog and everything like that.
What's the message?
The message is don't take a second look, pretty much, because it was geared with the idea of having faith in church and stuff like that. And again, denim is not something that people say is wearable on a Sunday morning. That's not considered Sunday's best. So at first glance, people may look at them like, all right, cool, look at these rebellious kids. But you take a second look at it and see what they're wearing and see how, like, what they represent. It's all on par, and they're doing it their way. That may be countercultural to what people are accustomed to, but it's fire,
So I like how you brought that in, because this week's episode Sweet 16, is all about finding your path, knowing that you didn't want to fit in, you wanted to stand out. So in saying that, down. So in saying
down
goes
Morty. Down goes Morty.
In saying that, it's kind of like you being heavy into church or you being big into church. I feel like it's easy to get lost in that and lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are one of the very few communities that are hypersensitive and they scrupularize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go into that environment not knowing who you are, not being secure in yourself, you can find yourself changing constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stay inside the church scene but also keep your individuality?
Damn, nigga, coming out with the heavy hitters.
Oh, sorry.
Damn. Nah. But I do appreciate that question because with this topic, it was definitely going to be one of my paths that I chose. To answer the question of how I keep my own identity is, honestly, that was something I took time for myself. I'd never, once I got onto the church scene, I had a certain level of self-awareness. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't looking to anyone else for my own identity. I didn't look outward for that. So that was something that I sought after on my own time. So whenever I stepped foot in the building, that question was already answered. That building can't answer that question for me. I can't find that from the building. I can't find that from a Sunday service. You know, I have to find that on my own personal time with my own practices and exercising my faith. So if I had that answer within myself, I'm never going to look for it outside. So that's my answer to the question. You know, a lot of people don't do that because, and also that's why I started a blog, because a lot of people just go with the conformity. They just, all right, cool, this is what I got to wear. This is how I have to behave. This is how I have to speak. All those kind of things, just follow with it. And, you know, a lot of people can't live up to that standard, or a lot of people never really know what it really means to believe what they believe, because they just acted without thought, without questioning it, without having the real reason within themselves. You know, you find that far more often than not. Why do you believe what you believe? They don't have a personal answer to that. They may have textbook answers, but they don't have the personal experience, the personal answer that comes from that a long time of doing what you do. You know, so that was something that I saw because I started going to church when I was 17 years old. At that point, I did some things. So when I went, I wanted to go. You know, it wasn't like I was 5 years old going with my parents because I had no choice. It's something that I wanted to do.
Did you at first try out a Catholic church so you can, you know, repent? Go into the box with, you know, the Lord?
So, you know, it's crazy. My mom put me in Sunday school growing up. So I did the whole First Communion thing. I did the confirmation thing. And I learned some things. And, you know, I took things with I guess you could say with a grain of salt. Like, I took it, processed it. I wouldn't say that I went to a Catholic school that kind of beat stuff over your head or nothing like that. Yeah. So I took some stuff home and, like, you know, processed it. And I definitely will say that some of my real encounters did start out with Catholic church. So that's why going to church on my own when I was 17 years old was a bit easier, because I had some, like, foundational beliefs already. But I did the whole confession thing. That joint was weird. Did not confess. Because at the age of like 12 years old, getting ready for confirmation, I had the priest ask me if anything I wanted to confess. I'm like, I don't want to tell this nigga I've been beating my meat. I don't want to tell him that.
He's gonna come out the booth. He's not ready. Cancel.
You know, so you know, but that was my encounter, like, you know, young girl and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not with this. It's just like, all right, anything you want to confess? I'm like,
nah, nigga, I'm good.
Nah, I'm good. What you doing, Father?
Yeah,
what you need to tell me?
You know them niggas was doing some things in that Catholic church. Sorry for Catholic niggas.
Put some cologne on today, Father? What's going on?
It's so repetitive, too. It's like again and again. You see their little boys just crazy stuff happening. Crazy.
Yeah. My church is in my house. My room. It's me and God.
And a lot of people said that was a no-go until quarantine happened. Everyone was doing it.
Except Florida. Them niggas was still going to church.
Everyone's hypocrites, bro. All it is.
It's part of human nature to be a hypocrite.
I'm definitely a hypocrite.
Again, I live on the intersection of double standard and not fair, my nigga. That's why I live.
Niggas is ready for the double standards episode. I already got people lined up.
They not ready.
They want to be on a double standard up.
I'm extreme with my double standards and unfairness.
I mean, you go to church. I'm sure you're extreme. All you niggas is extremists.
Kinda.
Yeah,
y'all niggas be wilding.
Yeah, you settle down. You calm down a little bit.
Well, I had to.
Not even never the crazy one.
He was presented to me as, you got to be careful because Jerry's into the church. So I was like,
I mean, that's not me having the conversation. A lot of times,
people present you as that, and it's not really.
Exactly.
I agree.
And it's like I had so many close friends. Like I remember, like when I worked at the YMCA, I had close friends saying like, "Oh, this nigga Jerry just behind my back." I'm like, "Damn, these niggas love me though." So I'm like, saying I was in a part of a cult. I'm like, "Niggas, you love me though."
Niggas though, yo.
I'm like, "Son, how y'all niggas gonna sit up?" Like, y'all love me though.
How are y'all out here bad mouthing you when they work for the YMCA?
But that's when they don't fully understand.
The Youth Male Christian Association, that shit was founded in the church.
I mean, but that's when people don't understand.
Things don't make no sense. They don't read.
That's when people don't understand fully. Like when you're 20 years old, you say like, "Nah, I don't really drink like that. I don't really like to party like that." It sounds weird during that time. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people thought it was cultish because
what else is? You CM Punk out here?
Straight edge lifestyle? It's not really cultish. It's like at 20, I wasn't really wilding on either. 21 was a different story. I was like, oh my, I'm going crazy. Because at first it's like, you know, liquor bad, drugs bad, you're black, don't do those things. Like, easy way to get targeted. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you already can't walk down a block while being black. So if you drunk, if you high, you're going to get harassed even more. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to just stay away from all those things. And as things kind of got a little bit easier in New York City, like they started like fucking with other people. Like, not for nothing, like we grew up in the hood, but we didn't really hang out in the hood. Mm-hmm. Like I was good in Bayside. Like I'm chilling. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I got pulled over once or twice, but for the most part, Black Kid and Bayside, they were leaving me alone because I was hanging out with a bunch of fucking white kids, Asian kids. They was like, all right, leave the token alone. But
like, I feel like the reason
I wasn't drink like that because I did a lot of things by the time I hit 17, 18. Like, I was really on the party scene heavy, like a lot. So by the time I was 17, I'm like, all right, I did it already. Did it, like, you know.
Are you going to those sweaty dancehall parties in the Jamaican basements?
Daytime bashments, all of that. Like, I done seen a whole lot of crazy stuff.
One of those invites.
Never.
I wouldn't know what to
Not
do there.
I mean,
I got no party invites.
it was crazy. So, like, by the time I'm 18 years old, I'm like, all right, cool. Do I want to do this for the next 5 years, the same thing over and over again? You know?
This man had a midlife crisis at 18.
Nah,
That's
insane.
what the podcast gives.
That's insane.
This nigga changed his life at 15 and never looked back.
I'm straight.
This
Like,
man
he's
was
like,
partying
when
for
I was
2
8,
years.
I was into some things.
but you brought up a good point. You said like,
you know, we all grew up in the hood, but you was cool elsewhere. Like, for me, Hollis, Queens.
I wasn't cool in the hood.
Like, you grew up in the hood, though.
Yeah, I wasn't cool in the hood. I ain't got none of those connects.
I don't either. Like, Joy be talking about stuff. I'm like, son, I can't relate. Wasn't doing that. What was those
Streets. I was not. Them streets, I was like, nah, I'm going to stay my ass home.
like? So it's just like it's being. I feel like another part of like choosing our path is just like we're not a product of our environment. You get what I'm saying? Like the stereotypical product of our environment. Sorry to put stereotypes in the hood, but you know, a lot of people what they expect to come out of Hollis.
The hood is the hood, man.
It's facts. Like,
The hood is
if you know about the hood,
already, my nigga.
like, come on.
The hood is a fucking hood, boy.
The fact that we don't have to define what the hood is and everybody
We already
knows
know.
exactly
We already know
what it
what it
is. Come on.
I mean, like here we are 3 dudes from the hood, and we're not a product of our environment.
I work in a jail, bro. I couldn't do it. I couldn't spend a quarter of my life with someone else telling me what the fuck to do all day.
yeah.
Right? Even though as kids we already spent a quarter of our life doing that because our parents did that already. But
And then we get
as an
jobs
adult,
and
if
then our
you,
bosses.
as an adult, like you spend your childhood and adolescence, someone bossing you around.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a year or 2 years of freedom, and all you do is fuck up your life, and you end up in jail. And now you have the next 20 years for someone else to boss you to fuck around. I'm good on that shit.
Yeah. I mean, at what point did you learn that, grasp that concept and that idea?
At what point?
Yeah.
I choose violence sometimes, but I don't like violence chose against me. So if I go places and I see some wild shit pop off over some hood beef or some crazy shit, it's like, you mean to tell me I can just be minding my business, niggas are gonna pop on me?
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I didn't like growing up in the hood. I was sitting in the lunchroom cafeteria in elementary school, and I didn't seen a mom get into a beef with another mom, get stabbed. I was like, oh, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm straight.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
You grew up in the hood.
Which school was this?
PS 140.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
Well, back in the day with parents, you know, they would work for the after school programs, and then you know some favoritism and shit was going on, and niggas got popped on, got stabbed in the head with a pen, and you know, she ain't died nothing.
This
it was
is-
alright,
this
but
is
it was
why-
traumatizing.
I'm not sure if being stabbed in the head is more.
More a savage with a pen or like I'm not
Definitely
sure.
with a pen.
That's a savage.
That's
So
why
let
we
me get
can't
your
have
hands
nice
on.
things. That's why we can't have nice things. That's why all funding gets cut.
I mean, as far as I go, I
I go have an after school program when the parents getting poked up by another parent.
I seen
That's a
parents
bad
fight.
example.
The far as I go, I seen parents fight on my walk home. That's far as I go.
On the walk home, that's a walk home. That's outside. That's outside. That's after school. We on school.
Nigga, this
property.
is in
Matter
the
of fact-
90s, bro.
Matter of fact, as
Wow.
I
Anybody could get it in the 90s, my
Yeah,
nigga. This
yeah.
why this generation don't
Son.
understand. Kids, parents these days not beefing and fighting like that. You're
Not
gonna be
at all.
on World Star. You gonna be everywhere before you can say boo. You're gonna be on a social media site.
That shit crazy.
Back in the day, it was whoever was there and niggas wasn't talking to the cops. So
That's okay.
Niggas still ain't talking to the cops.
yeah, now you just give me your phone.
But like, you know, the reason
I
I
asked that question about like what made you think like that because I remember in high school I was running around with gang members a little bit from Brooklyn and stuff like that, and
Oh no, some real gang members.
the opportunity to join was presented like, yo, you want parts? And I'm like, I was like,
yo,
Hey, yo, parts of
Oh,
what?
and the opportunity to join the gang.
Oh, okay.
Presented. So
Oh,
they asked me if I wanted
They
parts
took
of
you to
the
a little
gang.
luncheon.
Was it one of those old school jump-ins on these new school jump?
I mean, it was like full square kind of situation,
Mm-mm.
and
I'm good. You can hold that. I'm not trying to get jumped for no one.
they allowed me to take time and think about it. And I remember at the age of like 15, 16 years old,
Nigga gave you a
Nah.
letter. It was like, all right, get back to us whenever you're ready.
So real quick.
This is the benefits package.
Real quick story.
The one of my best friends at the time was starting a set in Queens, a branch from his brother's set from Brooklyn. So he was in charge of getting
Recruitment.
recruitment.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Nigga?
it was a real thing. So he was like legit my best friend. So like he was like, yo Jerry, like if you want parts, let me know. We'd love to have you to stand there. Like
We would love to have you.
Wow.
That's a gang though. That's
Son,
They
gangs
had
of
it
families.
recruited like he's a tech guru.
Yo.
Gangs of family, like that's what they do though. Like you think there's all rough
Son.
stuff, like nah, it's real.
We know how it is, but I ain't never been recruited like that.
So
Son, wait,
We
were
would
you?
love to have you.
nah, I mean those
I
not
gotta
verbatim.
On
That's not
Wednesdays-
verbatim, but that was
on
the
Wednesdays
energy.
we do coffee.
So, were you like a 5-star recruit or like a 4-star?
I mean, I'll
Like,
put
what were
in
the
work.
skills you were repping for them to like want to come out here and be like, we want you on the team?
I mean, if
fam?
y'all-
You seen hands? You have some hands on you?
Yeah.
You would hit off the
I
big
was
bang,
able to scrap. I was able to scrap.
big
I was
shoulder,
a scrapper back
with the
in
shoulder up.
I was a scrapper back in the day, and I
Yeah,
got
he
my
was
hands
brawler,
dirty.
too.
I got my hands dirty and stuff like that.
So they knew that.
Or you was a hitman?
Nah,
use tiny muscles.
I was,
Use tiny muscles.
whatever. If things were going down, niggas made sure I was there.
Patient sensation over there.
Wow.
But we could have a whole history. Like I might have to do my own episode. Like I have a whole, like I used to do some things. But beside the point, like I remember thinking like when you join a set, that's a lifelong commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless
I'm
it's
sure that shit fell apart and no one is asking, like, are you still in it?
no. Them
It's
still going.
It's like legit, bro. And I was surprised. I'm like, nigga, I'm like, son, you gotta grow up, son. but that's what I thought about. I'm like, son,
Those are the words of Jerry. You can do whatever you want, sir. I have no issues, no problems, no beef.
Nigga said he won't.
I want no
Not
smoke.
you copping a plea for a nigga who probably don't even listen to the podcast.
I
Nigga,
don't
you listen,
care.
you copping a plea?
I'm not trying to get fought out in these streets. over
Wow. I can't even be on this podcast with you no more.
No, but
That's fine.
Not the plea copping.
like the moment I realized, like,
do I want to be 30 years old, being woke up out my bed for a color of a flag? Do I really want that? My family,
So at 15, you thought about being 30.
yeah,
I was like, nah, I don't want this.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Nigga, I just thought about that in a week. I was like, nah, I don't want this.
I saw jail on TV. I was like, this don't look fun.
I mean, but when you're that age, you don't think
That you're gonna be the one going to jail. You think like, all right, cool, I'm smart enough to not get away with it.
No.
Because that frontal lobe ain't developed.
No.
You know why it never appealed to me? Because it was never get money niggas like, yo, little man, yo, come hold these drugs, yo, come push this. It was never a nigga in a new car.
Mhm.
It was some dirty ass kids on the fucking basketball playground, some turned over ass clothes, talking about, yeah, you want to rep this set with me? Is dirtiness a requirement, nigga? Hell no, I don't want to get down with that shit. You look crazy.
Nah,
You look crazy,
yeah,
nigga.
like, I ain't go front. But yeah, I ain't go front. That's pretty on par.
They don't make it look
Nah,
like
it was not glamorous.
they don't make it look like The Wire where they give you a stack of money to go get some good clothes.
no with the
Why? That was drugs. Like that was straight up drugs. Like with-
But I'm saying I'm not joining a gang. If I'm gonna join a gang, if I'm gonna risk my life, I want to make some
benefits.
motherfucking money,
Yeah,
nigga.
you gotta be some benefits.
What we gonna do? We gonna hang out on a basketball court and harass Indian niggas?
I ain't go front.
What the fuck was y'all doing?
By senior year, they was out here like making moves. By senior year, but
They was pushing
Yeah,
weight.
I was too. It's called a job, nigga. Like, come
It's
on.
a different kind of gang.
They wasn't doing nothing, son.
He repping that 401k.
Kilo.
nah,
No.
but, you know,
Hot dogs.
I ain't gonna get too much of that
Pause.
side of things.
Hey, yo.
Nah, but it was real. Like,
I think that's one of the things that set me apart, though. My ability to think, have like foresight, and think 5-10 years down the road, you know. And other dudes just like there for the good time, you know.
That shit never looked appealing. I don't know how anybody does it. That shit looks sad.
I mean, but you know, in a certain era, it was cool to like, you know, 50 Cent was cool. Like that was before Kanye. Once Kanye stepped on, like it kind of shifted the culture. But gangster rap was like the leading thing in our culture. So if you could gain street cred or whatever, it kind of gave you credibility of being cool. And when you're an adolescent, one of the things that you want to be is cool. You know.
So it's like
I wanted to be cool. I didn't want to be that cool.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to jeopardize my life to be cool.
Yeah. I was not like,
I mean, you had to.
clearly I wasn't either.
Like, and this is the thing about finding your own path and knowing when you're gonna fit in, knowing where you're gonna stand out. Because it became a point where you had to choose either I'm gonna be stupid as fuck in school all day just for people to like me, or I could fucking graduate on time and get the fuck up out of here. Like, because that's really all it was. Like, all of the cool kids, no offense, were stupid. Summer school, bad report cards. 9 out of 10 of them niggas was dumb. 9 out of 10 niggas was, yo, let me cheat off you.
Nah. Like, some of them just made poor decisions. Like, my boy, like, my best friend at the time, he was, like, really, really smart. And it was to the point, like, yo, bro, come to class. He was naturally smart, but he just chose other things. You get what I'm saying? It's just like he made stupid decisions.
Yeah,
but he's
people
like,
at home.
Wait.
That's what happened.
So he's naturally smart, but he makes stupid decisions. Kind of sounds like a stupid person.
intelligent. He was able to, like, grasp math and all those kind of subjects. He was good at it, but he just didn't come to class.
You know what the funny thing is? Working in jail for the last 7 years, all of those niggas there, all of the older ones, because the niggas who were still young are still stupid, but all of the older ones will be like, yo, I wish I would have went to school. I wish I would have got a regular job like you. I don't want to, like, they don't want that. Everything is good, but everything has consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me growing up, choosing where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be, I knew I don't like consequences. So the consequences of certain actions are you getting in trouble. You going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You dealing with the cops all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do none of that shit.
I agree with you. And like, you know,
Yes.
I heard like
Nipsey Hussle in an interview, like, you know, we're in New York, where niggas have options. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say everyone has equal options, but we don't have the like, you know, if you're out in Cali, like Compton and stuff like that, you legit need some type of like family to call yourself to in order to be protected walking the street. So that's a totally different lifestyle. But like, you know, there are people that legit don't have a better option than joining, you know, a flag family, I'm gonna call it, joining the gang. And it's like, you know, it's sad, but that's like legit some of the neighborhoods in our country, you know, impoverished neighborhood. It takes away options for some people.
Listen, I hope
Not New York though. That's not New
who
York.
was doing that now, who was doing that then, they should be good now. Drugs, they getting legalized. Go to Jersey, sell that weed.
mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You don't got to go to Jersey. We saw that weed in New York soon.
Yeah, I was walking on the Ave the other day. Got off the Long Island Railroad, walked up the block. Nigga had a whole bag of weed in front of the cops trying to sell his shit, dancing. I was like, yo, this shit crazy.
Oh my god! As soon as they made that shit legal, dudes lost knowing how to act. Cause out here, big ass duffel bags. Yo, you want to buy some weed? Want to buy some weed?
Niggas wasn't doing that before. I felt like every time I was on the app,
There was not
They were more
giving
subtle.
you the visual aid to go with it.
There was no duffel bag. There was like,
I wouldn't say it was more subtle because sour, diesel,
That's a fact.
diesel.
Cops
It's
right
not
there.
subtle, but
They did not have the zippy
off of a duffel bag.
and
Son,
Vanna White. It's crazy now.
you go to Times Square now. You know them fucking nuts trucks. They got weed carts. You can go up there and buy
I saw
ounces,
the
flowers,
buses.
carts, edibles.
I
They
saw
all
the
suck
buses.
though, because it's like low tier weed. It's boo boo, but you can buy it if you want it. It's like there and easy and readily available.
Ain't nobody want that.
No, well,
it's like buying pussy in
Sort of.
DR. There,
it's like buying
easy,
pussy in general.
readily available.
Like, don't buy pussy. Either get it or just be sad.
That's a whole nother topic. Niggas buying pussy. I just don't get it.
I don't.
I can't even tell people I'm going to DR now.
Now, 'cause automatically, why are you going out there? You going to buy pussy? No, I don't. Bro, it's a place, bro. It's still a place.
It's
Still a nice
resort.
place to go
Put
to.
my feet up, blue water,
Yeah.
you know, white sand, blue water. Can I just chill for a little bit? Poolside bar. Can I do that, please? Thank you. Appreciate you.
And if I do buy, some box, it's all right.
No. No, not at all. No. No, not at all, nigga. Tell me you bought pussy, I'm disowning you.
Wow.
I guess sarcasm is not. It's not.
No, I
not
believe
good
you, but
here.
I'm worried for you at the same time. when I'm
Do I look?
I'm
Do I
just
look
kidding.
like the type to buy?
No.
All right then.
All right, so question. Being that the three of us grew up in the hood, at what point did you realize that you were cut from a different cloth from those around you?
When I got good grades my entire life. I don't know, nigga. Like,
The second I saw niggas do dumb shit, I was like, I don't want to do dumb shit. I was like, what, 8 years old?
You know what's crazy? Niggas was trying to accuse me of being an Oreo way before like the Oreo phrase was even a thing. I remember being in first grade, having to prove my blackness to recite Biggie lyrics in first grade.
You told us this on like episode 4.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, but it's a real thing though.
Yeah, I was listening to Biggie in first grade.
I definitely was.
I was mad white.
I listened to Snoop Dogg.
It's mad white. I didn't listen to boy bands.
I think though, for the most part, like how we grew up was kind of different than how people grew up now. So even if you had friends who were in that scene, didn't want to go to school, were in gangs, they kind of would accept their friends for not being like them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, yo, my nigga D, yo, he gonna go to class, bro. You gonna go to class, son. If some pop, I got you. Cause I've been there. Like niggas, some shit pop, niggas got my back. Came to school the next day, whole school was scared. Because those are niggas I was hanging out with, but they never asked me to do those things. So...
And that's one thing about that crowd.
They know when you're not one of them. Like, they know, like, all right, cool. Like, they have higher standards for you when they see that.
But that's only if you
that lawyer.
That's only if you have like potential. Like if you hanging around them and you ain't got no potential, and if you're still not about it, they won't give a fuck about you. It's only when you like have potential to be something bigger than this is when they're like, nah, chill. You go do what you need to do, and we'll do what we need to do. But you don't need to be with us.
So in terms of that, right? Have you ever, at any point in your life, compromised your values or your beliefs to fit in with somebody else? A group or another person, or like portrayed yourself as something you weren't because that's what you kind of had to do in order to get that friendship or get that girl or get whatever you wanted?
I mean, that was like the first couple of years
To high school, before I learned better, before I was out here thinking beyond that, definitely. We all get into this story before. Like, I remember being in 8th grade watching high school shows, high school movies, seeing what, remember Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian? It was kind of like that, like, all right, cool, what I got to do to be a part of the IT crowd? Because I didn't believe that I, was cool enough to be that kind of person. I remember I came with this plan that the it person, first week of school, find the it person, become their wingman. He get girls, you get scraps. We're good. That was my plan. That was like my angle. So I definitely remember like, all right, cool. I just have to be the best friend I have to be the wingman to whoever.
That worries me, bro.
That is.
You got an Eskimo brother out there somewhere?
No, not at all.
Because getting scraps.
I was not out here Eiffel Tower with nobody.
Okay, I'm just saying because getting scraps sounds a lot like Eskimo brothers.
Nah. I don't.
I don't want to share no mutual bodies.
Nothing to my knowledge, at least. Nothing to my knowledge. But like, yeah, that was definitely like an example of me.
But your plan was to be Eskimo brother.
My plan was to...
Because your plan was to get the scraps. What is the scraps?
This man was just trying to be a vulture. He wanted the big lion to go hunt, and then he would just come in.
What would you have done in junior high school if a girl really was like, "Yo, come get this pussy"?
I probably would have
like did what I had to do.
I
would have been smelling like, I would have been like J. Cole.
How could I fuck a real? I just met that hoe. That one, Two-Face. Yeah.
No. What's the one with a Forest Hills Drive?
Oh yes.
More like that.
Yeah.
You know how it go, right? Whatever.
I don't know what the fuck I would have did.
I would have ran away.
Nah, I wouldn't.
It sounded a little aggressive. Junior high school, come get this pussy.
Shit, a girl say that to me right now. I'm like, no, thank you.
I would have felt like, all right.
You would have fucked with the bag?
Possibly. I probably would have been too excited. Like being too excited is a turn off, right? That's what women say. When you're too excited to get boxed, it's a turn off.
Do they?
They
say a lot of things. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
I mean, we need that voice to answer that question.
I don't know what's being said anymore.
Stories just be flipping day to day. I don't know what to make any
sense.
Can't
be too eager.
Yep.
You can't be too nonchalant about it. You want you somewhere right in the middle.
Can't be too closed off.
I guess it depends on the female that you have a conversation with, right? Woman you have a conversation with, I guess. But I mean, I can't imagine. That would have been a dream, but I couldn't imagine it. Can't imagine it. Age of like 13, 14 years old.
I just think we had one mindset in school, and girls did not have that same mindset. I don't know what the fuck their mindset was at that age.
I think it was on par though. I think they were thinking about it maybe from a different angle though. But we was definitely in the same book. Ain't no way home was across the body for the first time and girls was not thinking about sex. I don't believe that.
I think maybe, I don't know.
That might not have been the driving force, but it was definitely there.
We would actually have to have a woman of that era to actually
of that era.
Yeah.
Like
to
our peers.
disseminate, yeah.
Age
Because
period.
I would think, I don't know, maybe I'm just putting
I think
on.
it was just niggas.
Like, I know for us, men, boys, we are out here, even if we don't know what to do with the thing, we
That's
want,
what I'm saying.
We just want to tackle it.
Nah,
I
but
think maybe.
I don't know what to do with them titties, but I like them.
Nah, but like,
I don't know what to do with them.
bro, but like, I remember playing.
booty tagging in junior high school.
Hey.
I remember girls was out here flashing niggas in the staircase in junior high school. So there ain't no way. I'm not taking this. No, they're not for an answer.
See,
They were just exploring their sexuality.
boy, you out,
As we were.
out here trying to be someone's wingman. You out here playing booty tag. You got to be cool to play booty tag.
I was cool enough for certain crowds.
Yeah, same thing.
If you out
Cool
here
enough.
being allowed to slap girls' booties,
You never played booty tag, Hans?
no, I was not allowed.
Damn, you had a sucky childhood.
I was not allowed. I was not cool enough to go slap some random girl's butt without getting in trouble for it.
That's when you had to put your foot in, dig, dog shit. You were not it. You know what I'm saying? Bubblegum in a dish.
I mean,
you wish.
I'm just saying he wasn't letting to that.
You never played tag or nothing, nigga?
Tag, like regular tag,
I'm sorry.
freeze tag, manhunt.
We can
Not-
go.
not
We
booty
can go
tag.
through your junior high school yearbook. Like all those girls up who passed on you.
No,
See
they
what-
probably
see
all.
what they doing right now.
I seen a couple of them. They all look busted.
238.
Hey, don't be popular in high school, girls. It shit don't turn out for well in the end.
Listen, if your peak was in junior high school, sorry, son. Some people
Yeah.
talk about the good old days. This is the good old days. We 30. This is the good old days. You know?
Some of y'all aged like bananas.
Well, you know, the moldy they get is better for banana bread.
I don't want to put it in my mouth though.
What, Hans? What are you talking about putting bananas in your mouth for, son?
Hey,
What's wrong with you, son?
yeah.
An overripe banana. You want to eat an overripe banana?
I don't want to eat bananas in general. That's not mine. I don't like phallic fruits.
That sounds like
I actually,
No, can't do it.
you need potassium, bruh.
I'll
You
take
better
a pill.
throw it in a smoothie.
The potassium and protein powder already, so I'm good.
supplements.
Yeah,
Supplements.
I'll supplement my potassium someplace
I don't-
else.
I don't like to eat failing objects. So you don't eat hot dogs, sausages?
No, that they're chopped up.
Listen. I ain't gonna hold you, my nigga. If a glizzy looking right, that glizzy gonna get got.
Hey,
That's-
yo!
I said
Please.
what I said.
All right, I'm cutting this shit off. Come on, I said. Yo, that is going to be the promo for the episode. If the
Oh
Lizzie
my
is looking...
God.
That's Desiree's, not mine.
Oh, that sounds so gross.
Yeah, it sounds worrisome.
Glizzy season's upon
First you
us,
follow
Stop
the meat
saying-
pages, and now you
stop
want
calling-
Glizzy.
Please stop calling a hot dog a glizzy.
Glizzy season's upon us, bro. What are you talking about? Memorial Day coming, the glizzy's gonna be on the grill, you know what I mean?
When you say that, it makes me
Yo,
think
please.
Nah, you know what? I
you
know.
about to get a
Please,
facial.
nigga, you gotta stop.
What? Facial? What are
No.
you
When you call something
What
a
are you-
glizzy, that sounds mad facialist.
Now y'all pushing the
That
envelope.
sounds mad facialist.
Yeah, pushing the envelope.
I'm saying,
Right now. You're doing too much.
this guy.
Given facial.
No, but you know what? One thing I know for Don probably doesn't partake in glizzy because every time he come over here, there's no glizzies on the grill.
I try, you know what? When I have a barbecue, I try to, provide the top quality food products. But niggas be like, you don't got no hamburgers? Niggas filet mignon right there. What you need a hamburger for?
Filet mignon. Filet mignon over there.
I don't know nothing about no filet mignon.
Come on, son. You know about the filet mignon yet.
You want that glizzy? Oh, that's such a disgusting word.
So, alright. So with the topic, what are some moments that y'all remember that kind of solidified y'all past or in the influence that y'all decided to take? What are some moments yeah, nah, or a moment that you learned something or somebody spoke to you that you know?
So for me, in high school, and even my life now, I realized when you funny, everybody fuck with you. So
Facts.
I'm funny but not annoying. But you also have to leave people wanting more.
Mm-hmm. Can't be too much.
So I'm not one of those people who are in people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm never gonna force myself on you. I'm never gonna force you to hang out with me. I'm never gonna force myself to be around you. If you fuck with me, you fuck with me. So I've been looking at that aspect that some people fuck with me. They know I'm not gonna do nothing crazy. I'm not wilding out with them. They fuck with me though. And it took a long time in high school for me to realize, yo, I'm not a nigga. I didn't realize that shit till after high school though.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job in high school, had my own money, bought my own cars, with my own shit. And even still, I was damn, I feel like I'm not getting no play. I'm not getting no burn. And I started to think like, yo, what am I doing wrong? But in the reality, I wasn't doing nothing wrong. It wasn't my time. So I feel like we all get put on, we all come into our own at the right time. Because like Han said, them girls from school is washed up now. I'm glad I ain't hit my peak early.
So every time I go on Facebook, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'm still on the climb.
It's like, I know I'm not good, but I look better than you. But yeah, being funny is probably the most underrated trait you can ever have in life. Is actually being able to make people laugh. Because that in and of itself like breaks so many barriers on like social interactions that it's insane. Like a lot of my humor comes from my cousins and the sarcastic dryness. Like essentially just dudes fucking ribbing each other constantly all the time. And me being the youngest one, I got it the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
So eventually you take enough of them hits, your skin becomes kind of like fucking dull. Like, what the fuck you gonna say to me? Like, I get it. I get it twice as hard back home. Like, which shit? So like, then like you like being funny is how I got through probably most of high school and through college without ever being insanely popular. Like, I didn't get invited to like no parties, none of that, no parties in college, none of that. It was always just go to school and then go home. But for some weird reason, I would be memorable in people's eyes. Like, they would remember me, even though I would not say a word, or I'll say like maybe one thing, and they will see me like 2 weeks down the road, and then remember what I said. I have no idea what I said. I say so much shit sometimes that what I say I don't remember. And it wasn't like I didn't realize how funny I was until like strangers were laughing. Because like in college,
that's when you know you got it.
Like when you leave high school, like you eventually even high school, no matter how unpopular you are, you're gonna have like clique. You're gonna have like a group of people that you're always gonna hang out with, regardless of whether or not that's the people you want to hang out with. You're gonna have like one or two.
Yeah.
Once you get to college, you don't know any of these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So you have to try and make friends on yourself, and I'm not good at that. Everyone makes friends with me. I don't go out of my way to make friends. And then one class, like community college, you be getting professors that just be fucking stupid, saying dumb shit. And at that point in my time, I've reached my capacity on how much dumb shit I can handle without having to verbalize my response to your dumb shit. But I wasn't ballsy enough to say it loud enough to be like the destructive kid, so I just say it under my breath.
Mutter it, and niggas around you would laugh.
Like, that shit don't make no sense. I would say it so much that like towards like the end of like my first semester, these kids that were next to me, I guess they were like cooler than me because I can like listen to them. They're always like chatting and being those asshole kids. I was like, nigga, they like point me out like, you are always saying like some of the funniest shit under your breath. Like, why don't you speak up? I was like, and then I left the classroom.
They left the classroom.
Yeah, but now shit. Since finding theater, I can talk my ass off.
Fire.
But even that in finding theater in and of itself, because I didn't do theater until my senior year of college. So that means 21. That's when I found theater. So I'm probably still
perfecting that.
No, I'm still shy and introverted and not outgoing. So in finding theater, I remember I was finishing up my credits. This is when you get to take electives. So I'm like, I want to go do stuff fun. So I'm like really into film and stuff. So I want to go do film. So I started taking some film classes. So I take a directing class. I thought it was directing film. It was directing theater. Terrifying. It's one thing if you're an introvert and you like film, I can watch that. I don't have to participate. I don't have to talk to people. I just have to watch the film, dissect the film, write a paper. Going into theater, I have to talk to people. I have to interact with people. I have to ask people to do things for me.
Yeah.
That was such a culture shock that when I stepped out of that class, I was legitimately terrified. I thought I had to drop the class. I didn't though, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I don't know how I'm going to interact with people.
Yeah, public speaking. Hate that shit.
So you like now that you were forced, you found out that
because I ain't no bitch.
Yeah.
Well, I made It's one of like the only like goals I've made in life was I'm gonna go to college. I'm not gonna pay for it, and I'm gonna graduate in 4 years. That's what I promised myself.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna pay for it. I'm gonna graduate in 4 years. I'm gonna get my degree. That's it. And I did that. I did it. Boy, I worked my ass off to get that.
With honors.
With honors. Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm not that smart. But
listen, throw that sauce on it, man. If that sauce is available, throw that sauce on it, boy.
Throw the sauce on the glizzy.
So I was out here.
Took the whole
What sauce you put on the glizzy? What sauce you put on the glizzy, Jerry?
No.
Get you a big glizzy. No, he's not going there. Okay. Let's get back to the serious. So I didn't socialize much in high school on like that super cool guy social. I ain't playing no booty tag. I ain't talking to no girls. I ain't had no girlfriends. Like actual, just like friends that were girls. I had none of that. College, even worse, because I had all my peers from high school are gone. So I started hanging out with my sister's friends.
That's a scary existence.
Because I ain't got no friends. I might as well hang out with my sister.
Kind of cool.
They're cool, but they were like student union people that just
hang out a little too much.
They get the fast food check and then they just hang out in the union until the next one.
They did the same shit they were doing in high school. Same niggas.
Yeah, I was like, eventually I drifted away, but it's weird that you say you hate public speaking because I hated it too, and it wasn't until I took public speaking class and
that was a game changer.
What flipped in my head was to be funny. When you speak and you say words aloud and you be funny, people will listen. People will hear you. People won't really judge you. They won't like ignore you. They will like start to connect with you.
Well, you're the biggest nigga in the room. Niggas gonna have to listen to you regardless. Not just but nah, I took speech and it did it. I think for me, what translated is
what was one of your speeches?
I did.
What was your topic?
I did speeches. I did a speech on like the stock market, like 401ks and shit like that. And this was when like niggas is.
You care about the stock market?
I do. Niggas is like 20, and I'm telling people, I'm talking about retirement accounts and how to invest your money at like 20. So people was fucking with it. They were interested. But for me, all in all, it kind of just was like, I stopped caring. Like, what the fuck people think? Because for the simple fact is, you're not gonna be for everybody. And if you try to be for everybody, if you try to fit in with everyone, you're not gonna fit in with anyone, and you're gonna be fucking miserable.
Yep, you're gonna become a people pleaser, not yourself pleaser, and you miss out on your whole life because of it.
So like we're talking about finding your path, and all we've really discussed so far is like finding our path from adolescence until adulthood. But I'm still finding my fucking path. I'm still trying to become a better person than I was yesterday. I'm still trying different risks. I'm still moving in different ways to try to be a different person than I was the other day. So like the person I am now, from being like shy in high school to being boisterous and to being like not giving a fuck to like going on vacation, going to resorts, and I'd be like, yo, they renamed the resort after me. And that's not me bullshit. That's like me. This nigga was on vacation with me. Like I go to the pool, party don't start till I get there. Like, and that's not even me bullshit. And like, yo, we get there, we watch. Like we went on vacation, we went to the bar and we watched. We had drinks. We watched the pool. Nothing was going on. I said, yo, let's go over there, turn it up right now. Went over there, turned shit all the way up. But I didn't have that confidence in high school. Like, that's some shit you gotta earn. That's some shit you gotta, like, develop on your own through meeting other people, through, like, knowing that not everybody's gonna like you. There's gonna be people who like you. And just be confident in yourself.
Yeah, so, like,
Fully agree with that, because I feel like we kind of lightly talked about it in previous episodes. Like, we're still learning. You know, we're still becoming. Like, we're still becoming the person that we're meant to be. Yeah. At least, you know, that's me. Like, I'm still trying to become the best version of myself. And I feel like even from, like, I'm happy that I had older brothers. And, like, you know, one of my brothers, Steve, I remember before my sophomore year, he told me, like, a little nugget. And I think he meant it differently, but I took it and ran with it. He told me, don't wait for anybody for you to go wherever you want to go. if you're gonna go somewhere, go by yourself. Don't worry about anybody going with you. And he meant to, like, when you're in high school, if you do something afterwards, you know, if you're trying to go to a store, you ain't gotta wait for nobody to go with you. Just that's what he was actually talking about. But me, I took that like, whatever I want to do, and if I think it's dope, go and do that. Go and do that. And I remember, in junior year, sophomore year, I was practicing for like a talent show. I'm a dancer, love to dance. Practicing for a talent show, and I was
Pole
practicing.
dancing or what kind of dancing?
Well, you know,
Okay.
I dip and dabble.
Oh, that was your
Okay.
stage name?
The show, man.
Jerry the Stallion?
Dip and
Huh?
dabble?
I mean,
What they call you, Jerry the Stallion?
If the shoe fits and rock that joint, you know what I mean? Nah, but and I remember I was just, you know, practicing some dance moves and stuff like that, and like the ball team was like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?"
Niggas see you pop, lock, and drop it.
Like it was the cool black crowd was like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I even answered the question, kept on doing what I was doing, and it's just like, you know, it was like that's an example of me just, all right, cool. I ain't gonna wait for nobody to do what I'm doing, and lo and behold, senior year, everybody come to the talent show to see me and my group. So it was us. So, you know, it's just like, that's an example of,
Did y'all win?
nigga.
What was the name of your group, nigga?
It was called, we called ourselves The Show.
Oh.
So like the talent show was called Le Show, like Spanish or whatever. And it was our senior year.
Edison?
Yeah, Edison. So it was our senior year, and me and my group was like, yo, we know that we about to be the best group in this joint, so we just called ourselves The Show, because we knew we was gonna close it out.
You became Jerry the Show.
And every year prior to that, exactly, that's where I got my name from. Every year prior to that, they would have an alumni come back and perform whatever alumni they loved or whatever, and they would be the last act.
You went back?
No, I never went back. I never went.
They
Cause
never called you?
like I went back by myself, and I went up on the stage and got like by myself, but I didn't have a group. We didn't practice nothing
But
like
you went
that.
back though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I went back myself.
Hey,
I
nigga.
You was one of those celebrated alumni?
performed, but it wasn't like formal performance.
Coming up next, live to the stage, Jerry the Show.
The alumni would perform last, and that senior year we was like, nah, we going last. Nah, we closing this joint out. We doing that, and it was great. All because, you know, that's just an example of, now if you're gonna do something, do it yourself. So even when I go to church, same thing. When no matter where I go, I maybe get heckled for it, but if something that I want to do,
You get heckled, nigga?
like, you know, for lack of a better phrase, you know, if someone has something a sideways to say that if they don't understand it, I don't care if you don't understand it, I'm still
Yeah, I
gonna
got
do it.
3 letter word for all them niggas. SMD.
and if you ain't down,
Down with that, the 4 words for you. Sorry. Better you not.
If you don't understand it, I'm going to make sure you're going to feel dumb.
But like, I like how y'all was talking about the speech class, because I feel like that was definitely a moment, like, because when I went to LaGuardia, I started in LaGuardia, right, community college, and my speech teacher didn't like me. She judged me completely by my book. I was like a young fly kid, rocking polos and Jordans and stuff like that, right?
Showed up late?
Never. I was always never.
Nigga, sure. Damn. Feel attacked.
Not, I mean, like, I was always like 15 minutes early. And it was our first project, and we was going according to like a list that we had. So she said, when it's your turn to go, make sure you dress accordingly. And I was certain that I was not going to go this day. So I was underdressed for my role. But the assignment was have a piece that lasts under a minute. And it could be a poem, it could be whatever. It just has to be something that's been created before. So I'm like, it's my turn. I'm like, damn, I thought, you know, I'll be next class or whatever. Like, damn, I'm not dressed, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I stepped up to the podium or whatever. And I say the first couple of lines, she says, you're not dressed. I knew she didn't like me. Like, she was coming from my neck. Crazy. So I'm like, hey, I know. So when I tell you spit a verse, but you have to recite it not as a verse. You have to recite it as a speech or whatever. Spit that verse, had the entire class just like silent. And I remember like, cause I like really went in with it, whatever. And that moment, I'm like, yo, son, like, cause I was like heart beating out my chest, about to go up there. Public speaking is not my thing. And then I did that. I'm like, yo, that was dope. That felt dope. Whoever judged me for whatever cover that I had, like, I love proving people wrong. So kind of like, you know, reinforce that idea of like, whatever you believe is right within yourself, go get that, regardless of how people judge you.
I think like in terms of people listening, like public speaking it's a very difficult thing to do, But I think one thing you should realize when you do public speak, there's always somebody listening. For the simple fact that you may go up there and think no one's paying attention, no one cares, no one gives a shit what you got to say, but there's still always somebody listening, like who you may resonate with. Just like with what we're doing on this podcast, like we may not reach 1 million people, but if we reach like 5 people, there's still 5 people listening. There's still 5 people who tomorrow will be like, yo, I heard something dope and I'm going to apply it to my life. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like key when you're like public speaking, is to remember like you're going to reach somebody that you potentially probably would have never reached had you not opened your mouth. Mm-hmm. Because a teacher or someone else can talk all day and night and it may not resonate with you. But someone on your same level, someone lower than you, a peer will go up and say something that might speak to you.
And I think that goes with like groupthink. Yeah, know what groupthink is?
Yeah, I don't groupthink.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we don't. I feel like that's why we're sitting right here, right now. I think that's where we all get along. For those that don't know, groupthink is when you have a group of people, and if the majority have a certain thought pattern and they express that, the minority will go along with it, just to not, go against the grain. They'll quiet themselves down just to not have resistance or whatever. Right?
I like going against the grain.
I appreciate.
I pride myself on rubbing niggas the wrong way. Pause.
I play devil's advocate just for shits and giggles.
I mean, I'm the type of person who's just like, nah. If I feel like this, but like I don't care. I'm the type of person. If I'm one of 5 people in the room and other 4 people is arguing with me, and I believe this to be true, I don't care. All night, I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it. Y'all can call me whatever, I don't care. If I believe this to be true, arguing to the death of me. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that operate by groupthink, don't even realize it. They live their lives by groupthink. And that's one of the things about social media. A lot of groupthink is applied through a lot of things that you consume and don't think no differently. But I feel like, I don't know, man. It's just like when you live this life, I feel like you just have to be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's going to be the only thing that makes the difference. Make life worth living.
I ain't know this. I'm true to this.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So in terms of being an adult, in terms of like what you're doing now, like we've talked a lot about paths in terms of social dynamics. But what about paths in terms of your happiness? Mm-hmm. Like, when did you choose a path to be happy? Like, when did you leave something behind that you thought made you happy, but it really didn't, and you chose a different path that made you happy, even if it was unpopular?
I mean, that's tough, because I don't
make a lot of decisions based off of happiness. I make a lot of my decisions based off of what I believe I'm supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? So, a lot of things can make you comfortable, and people confuse comfort with happiness, right? There's times where you just have to do something that's going to be difficult because you believe that's what you're supposed to do.
But see, I don't necessarily agree. Mm-hmm. I think people choose comfortability because it's comforting.
Easy.
You can be comfortable and unhappy.
Of course.
So, when's the last time you chose a path that made you happy?
Mine is mad simple. When I chose to go do theater, or tried to attempt to go be an actor at 21 after getting a criminal justice degree, like, it's probably the one thing in my life where I did it and I wanted to do it more, regardless of what anyone thought. I felt like this is what I needed to do. So I did my first show, and I had no lines, no speaking, literally just being a tough, light-skinned dude in army fatigues. And I had a big-ass gun. That was it. That's all I did. I walked like 2 feet, came in one time, busted up the gun, didn't even shoot the gun. No lines, no nothing, just moving. And from that, I was like, this was fun, but I need to get me some lines. So I was like, all right, next play, I'm going to get me some lines. I got me some lines, and I was like, I need to get me one of these lead and roll shits. Next play, got me one of them lead and roll shits. And then once I got that, I was like, all right, I got to learn more, so let me take a step back. Let me go behind the scenes and start doing some of that. As soon as I started doing that, started doing like assistant director and stuff. I've literally done almost in like probably like 6 years of doing theater, almost all the capacities you can do in essentially in the role of a theater. Like any of those roles that you can do on stage, off stage, I've done in some sort of capacity. So it was like choosing to go do theater and choosing to, and it was like, I think you asked a question earlier. And it was like, when did you make a decision to, I guess, it was more like on a negative note, like to stop fucking with some people because of the consequences of what their actions are going to do. Mine was more on the positive. Like I had to I got invited to go do that one where I had no lines. Mm-hmm. And being so introverted, I was in the library by the computer because that's what I did. I just go to the library and sit down because I'm going to be by myself. And I'm like so anxious and whether or not I'm going to just go to this rehearsal that I went to the black box where we rehearsed early, saw people in there, got scared and went back to the library to sit down and actually debate whether or not I'm going to go back closer to when the start time was and see this through. I was so close to going home because I was already done with classes. There's no reason for me to be there anymore. Yeah. And I just sucked it up and made the choice to go do it. And it's probably like one of the greatest decisions I ever made.
Hearing you speak reminded me of my answer. I heard somebody say that in life, when you feel like that, the moments that bring the most anxiety, the most fear on the other side is the greatest moments of life. So I feel like for me, mine is dancing. I found out that I'm a thrill seeker. I love that. I love that anxiety and stepping up to the plate and matching that anxiety with performance. I think that's definitely one of that helped me view life as a giant stage. So I think deciding to dance, because I'm Haitian, from Haitian descent, and we mentioned this in past episodes. You don't do creative stuff when you're Haitian. You do concrete, what's gonna get you money. Lawyer, doctor, accountant, management, whatever the case may be. So definitely, when I decided to dance, that was something that I thoroughly enjoyed and I was good at naturally. And I was able to help other people learn how to dance this, that, and the third. So, definitely taking the stage and, doing that.
I think from what I can gather from kind of both of your answers is, it was that moment of uncomfortability that kind of made you happy. Because we talk about paths and it's like, it's easy to take the path or the road that's traveled. Mm-hmm. But when you create your own path and you walk that path, there's going to be obstacles in that path. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. The best part of walking an unknown path, or the best part of creating your own path, is that when you hit that bottom point, you hit that low, when you hit that obstacle that you feel like you can't get around, when you finally solve how to get around it, or you go through it, it makes you a better person for the next obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Makes you stronger.
Right. So I think a lot of times we kind of seek the easy way out. And I think in our generation, we were kind of taught to seek the easy way out. So the easy way out is, we know doctors and lawyers and dentists and accountants make money. The hard part is, if you want to go to the NBA, or if you want to become a rapper, or if you want to become a photographer, it's like, oh, that market is saturated. You're never going to make it. But you can take that and be like, all right, I agree. I'm just going to do something that cuts me a check that I don't really fuck with anyway. But when you do something that you fucking love, I'm not saying you're bound to blow up or you're bound to pop, but you're bound to be happy in doing something that you love. Even if you fail, right? Even if you fail at doing what you love, the fact that you attempted to do something you love makes the next attempt even better. So episode 1 of this podcast, fucking crazy. All types of fucking music miscues, all types of fucking random conversations, and every episode gets better. So I tell people, listen from 1 to 15 or listen from 15 to 1. You can see where we are and you can see where we came from, or you can see where we came from to see where we are now. But that's how life works also. You can't take a path that's paved by someone else and find happiness on that path. You have to take the path that you paved on your own.
I agree. And as you was talking, one of the things that popped up in my mind is challenge. I love a challenge.
It may break me down, but if I could rise back up, I'm gonna be a stronger person because of it. That's why we go to the gym, right? When you go to the gym and work out, you're legit breaking down your muscles, tearing your muscles so they can grow back stronger. And it's the same thing with our lives, with our mentality, with our personality, with our character. You know, and I feel like that's how you live life. I believe in life to the full. There's existing and then there's living. I feel like you live when you seek the challenge, when you seek out that thing that you believe that would make you happy, taking that risk. I want to live life to the full. You know, and even me being a part of this podcast, I feel like that's a part of it because I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do something dope that we haven't done before. Let's do something dope that would inspire somebody else. Like even from day one for this podcast, I'm like, son, we're gonna talk about something at the end of the day that'll be inspirational because we just too dope to not be inspirational. You know, and look, the last couple episodes has just been us, and we've been out here kicking inspiration.
Facts.
You know, and
we too dope to not be inspirational. I like that shit, nigga.
When you said that shit, what like parents do on it, and I get the love behind it.
Mm-hmm.
When they push you to stay away from like the entertainer side.
They push you to be a basic bitch.
When they like push you to do something more practical, like that's it. Like you said, it's so saturated. You're not gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. Why? You can go be a doctor. Here's the blueprint to go be a doctor. You can go be a doctor. Acting like being a doctor is so fucking easy. Like you can go easily become a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Like
dudes turn to
honestly, you'll probably have a better shot becoming an entertainer than you have becoming a doctor.
Oh, it depends. But one thing I will say,
but to that, I have more to say. I can't get behind telling that to children when they're just trying to dream about doing something that's so outside of their norm that, like, why do you want to turn a kid into an adult so young by having them think about, instead of wanting to, like, I wanted to be a baseball player. That's what I wanted to do until I realized I realized on my own that I was not going to be a baseball player. But damn, let me think I'm going to be a baseball player until I figure out I'm not. Don't make me go be a plumber because I need to have money by 25.
Yeah.
Let me experience life how I want to experience it, and then if I fuck up, let me fuck up.
I remember a quote saying, a creative is a kid that survived. Like, to your point, right? Why would you want to kill a child's dream? When you ask a kid what they want to be, they say astronaut. They say the most fireman, even you say more outlandish things, you know. And it's dope. And it's like a kid can legit be anything if they're invested into. You get what I'm saying? So one of the things of me growing up, I'm pretty ill with a pencil. I was pretty ill with a pencil. And I remember I came home one day and my mom threw away all my drawings. And I never drew since then. My mom was like, thought it was like a waste of time to be out here with the pencils and stuff like that. And it was just like in that moment, a part of my creativity died. I never really drew like that. I was planning to go to high school for art and all that kind of stuff. And till this day, I'm still creative. I still dream. I still want to do things because a part of that still ain't died. It's like Hans was saying, like, you know, once the world gets to you, it lowers your expectations of what you believe that you can actually do. And I 1,000% agree with that. It's like when you have a parent that settled and may have not have gone with their dreams, they're gonna teach. Like, they're gonna try to look out and say what's best for you. Just cut all of that out and just don't have hopes almost, and just do the safe thing. This is the map. This is the road. It's been paved. This is how you become a doctor. You got to go to law school to become a lawyer. You got to do this, pass the bar. All that is paved out. It's a lot more risk when you become a creative. And I don't like, you know, how often do you see people who are successful with their creativity tell their kids, nah, you got to become a lawyer. Nah, you got to become a doctor. How often do you see that?
You don't.
You know, that comes from people that settled and saying like, all right, cool, I'm going to do this. And don't do it. Because I failed, I know that you're going to fail. And you should never do that to your kid.
I think that
at least I don't believe. I'm not a parent, but I don't believe you should do that to your kid.
I think that within the color community, not even within the lower to middle class communities, because even some white people go through these things, right? I think that a lot of times our parents come from a place where they didn't necessarily know where their next meal would come from, or they didn't know if they would have money to keep the lights on. So their best way to protect you from going through those same things was to tell you, listen, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go do these jobs that I know have good income so you don't have to suffer through what we're suffering from. But at the same time, they didn't necessarily foster a creative environment where they didn't really realize, yo, a graphic designer gets bread, a website engineer gets bread, all of these things, right? There were some families who bought their kids computers because they kind of guessed or knew, like, yo, computer's about to blow up, get on this computer, get to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, even pro gamers now, we look at kids like, oh, you're playing too many video games. Why are you playing these video games? Why are you wasting your time on these video games? Some of these niggas making more money than doctors and lawyers combined.
That's a fact.
So it's a detriment to say in certain communities that we have to reevaluate our old beliefs.
I mean, it's also very difficult because a lot of these parents had to grow up quick too because they didn't know where they were coming from.
I found this on the web for communities that we have to reevaluate our old beliefs. Check it out.
Damn, government, you wildin'.
No, but you know, and certain things go in cycles. So certain things travel through generations. You know, they didn't really have the chance to live out their childhood. Being creative is a part of childhood. You know, it's part of being a child and growing up. You know, exercising your imagination, exercising, you know, what you believe that you can make and put out into the world. You know, and a lot of people never had the opportunity because I'm hungry. Yeah. I got to do what I got to do to get this next dollar. What's the quickest way I could do that? What's feasible? I have to settle with that. And that can be passed down. So sometimes you get it, but if by any means, if you're a parent, try your best to be the best parent you can be so your kid can be a kid. You get what I'm saying? Like, allow your kid to be a kid. I want my kid, like, I would love to have my kid be balanced and be naive enough to believe that whatever they put their mind to, they can actually do it. Because within my household, when they step outside, the world's going to tell them, like, nah, nigga, you ain't. But me,
they don't be against us. We don't need to be against us.
Exactly. I'll be damned, like, because if my child's going to believe in me more than they do the world, because growing up, whatever your parents told you, you believed.
I ain't believe shit these niggas said.
But, you know, before you step outside in the world, the first teachers you have is your parents. So before the world can teach you anything, the first teacher you're going to have is your parents. So, you know, having that responsibility, I'm going to make sure that, you know, my kids can be kids all the way through. You know, I'm going to invest in my kids. I'm going to see what they're naturally good at. Like, if my son was like Hans and believed that he could be a baseball player and that's where he was good at, if I saw like Hans was good at acting too, I'm like, all right, cool, you want to play baseball, but let's do this acting class too because you kind of got skills over here. Yeah. You know, like,
I think I'm seeing more people in our generation, like parents from our generation, a lot of them putting their kids in activities that we weren't privy to. One of my coworkers, his son has his pilot's license. And he's like 20, 21, like he's young.
Dope.
Like he might be younger than that. I'm not sure his age, but he paid for his he paid for the lessons. They're not cheap, but he's paying for them.
Investment. Because
that's something that's a good ass fucking job in the future.
Investment.
And he's paying for that now. But what I want people to understand is, even though you may be in your 30s, your 50s, your 60s, whatever fucking age group you're in right now, that doesn't mean you still can't find a different path. That doesn't mean you still can't make yourself happy.
You never do it.
Every day you wake up, you have a choice to make. You can make multiple choices. Everyone makes multiple choices in a day. Mm-hmm. Am I going to take the subway? Am I going to take the bus? Mm-hmm. Am I going to take the escalator? Or am I going to take the steps?
I'm going to person out. I'm going to keep my
What sauce am I going to put on my glizzy?
What sauce are you going to put on the glizz?
Yeah, so that was like a whole
These are all choices. You choose that mayo, it might be old. You might be on that toilet. Nah.
Kind of thick.
You have to choose, and you have to make a decision of what you want to do with your life. You have to choose the right path. Not even the right path. Choose any path. It could be the wrong path. You can always choose another one after that. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, we kind of make ourselves stagnant.
And that comes out of fear of failure. We discussed this again. You know, we think that, you know, we don't have the luxury or the time or the opportunity to fail. You know, don't fear failure. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's something that from our community, we feel like we don't have the privilege for, you know, because it's like time is money. Time is a meal, you know, like, you know, it's difficult, but do something, fail. Don't be afraid to fail because you might enjoy failing.
You might have the most fun in your whole life failing. So all these paths we've taken and are taking kind of maps out who we are and like our identity. What are like 3 like pillars that you hold on dear that kind of like dictates what paths you take now or have taken that got you to this point? Like, what are 3 things that you feel like you hold dear in your journey, I guess you could say, of these paths?
So for me, whenever I'm choosing a different opportunity, whenever I'm choosing anything in general in life that's going to play a major part in who I am or shape me in general, I try to think about how it affects my family, how it affects my happiness, how it affects my fucking money. So honestly, at the end of the day, family, happiness, and money, those are my pillars for my decision making. If it's going to make me bread, if it's going to make me happy, if it's going to make my family happy, if it's going to make us all good, then I'm with it. But if it's going to jeopardize any of those 3 things, I try to avoid it.
I was thinking about my answers, and the fact that you put it so succinctly, I have nothing to do but just agree with him. At this point in my life, all my decisions are usually wrapped around those 3 things, and I'm trying my damnedest to make sure those 3 things align as much as possible.
I agree again, but I'm gonna add a little bit to it. Just for sake of conversation, because I'm out here writing my top 2. I'm like, damn, you ready to say, man, now,
I was thinking, let me jump in, and then he started talking. This nigga got it.
I think that nigga, you went first. That's what.
Just saying.
Nah, but I think that in order to apply a different 3, to try here, I'm gonna say like Jesus slash love. That's still family and friends. Like that, how I live my life is still like a core pillar for me. You know, so just like I want to just be exceptional and in the best possible way. So that's definitely something. I would say legacy, and just like the idea of whatever I leave behind, because our days are numbered. I'm 30. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody, but hopefully I can leave something behind that will impact something. So even with this podcast, just a digital footprint. This ain't going nowhere. The words that we share here is gonna be here after. So even with doing creativity, like I try to create things out into the world that will hopefully outlive me. And make people think and be inspired some type of way. And the last one is future, which kind of goes with legacy and family and all that kind of stuff still. But like, I always think about future forward, as y'all can see, even from like the age of 16, 17. So I think those 3.
I think before we end this shit, all I really kind of want to tell people is that at the end of the day, you kind of touched on it briefly. We didn't really get too much into it, but whatever you're choosing, try to make happiness and your mental health one of the biggest things that inspire you or cause you to go down a certain path. If you've been choosing or putting everyone else's well-being or their happiness in front of your own for your decision making, then it's time to put yourself first.
While not being toxic.
Yeah, but it's okay to put yourself first though. So even if you take a step forward that you think will create happiness in your life, and it's not toxic and it's nothing crazy, but you just think it will make your life better, and it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Just try again tomorrow.
Yeah, try to figure it out.
But in general, just make sure that happiness is one of the things that you strive for when you make a decision. Because at the end of the day, you can make a million decisions, and if at the end of the road, none of them made you happy, you made all those for no reason.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you lay your head in your own pillow. You're going to be the only one laying in your deathbed. No one's going to die for you. And, it's going to be your life at the end of the day. Regardless of how many sacrifices you told yourself you was making, you lived a life that will make someone else happy. That's losing. That's not life to the full. It's a losing situation.
Facts. Yo, Jerry, take us the fuck out.
All right, y'all. This was
Sweet 16 episode of Sorry We Offended You podcast. And if you don't know by now, we are on everything. So whatever social media platform you're on, we're on. So type it in, sorry, we offended you, ? And we're going to pop up. Make sure to check us out on Apple. Check us out on Spotify. We're up on YouTube. So hit that subscribe, hit that notification so whenever a new episode drops, every Friday we're coming with it. All right, y'all.
Yeah, that bing bong.
Episode 17.
Yo, episode 17 coming soon. As always, there's no us without you. The damn sure ain't no you without us. We out of here.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? This is Jerry the Show here, aka Mr. Photo, aka Gray Hair, Don't Care. Yes, it's natural. But we just got through listening to the Sorry If We Offended You podcast. But if you like it, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Everything you're on, we're on it too. And if you didn't like it, send us an email. Offend us in an email. We're here for the smoke. Either way, we'll hope to hear from you soon. Peace.